Welcome to Hodge Podge Australia. Today for Halloween we're making a Freddy Fazbear Five Nights at Freddy's cake. This is based on Freddy Fazbear, if you didn't already guess. So what you're going to want to do is print this template off of our blog. Yes, we have a blog. Check out the link in our description box below. You're going to want 2 cakes in an A4 size, white, brown and black buttercream. Now I've separated the brown and black into large tips and small tips. Print out 2 copies of Freddy Fazbear and then use one to cut out the entire head and use the second one just to cut out his hat and his muzzle. Is it a muzzle? But his nose sort of cheek area of a bear, because we're going to raise them up a bit so that we get a little bit of body to our cake. Then place your template down onto one of your cakes and cut out your entire head, including the muzzle and the hat, and then continue this on the other cake, just cutting out the entire head. You don't need 2 lots of the hat and the muzzle, just one is fine, because obviously it's already there in the entire face. We're just going to build it up a little bit. Once you have done that, put a little bit of buttercream onto your cake board of choice, place down one of the layers of the entire head, add a layer of buttercream, depends on which one you've made the most of, so I've made the most of my brown buttercream. I'm going to spread that out into a nice even layer and then place the second cutout of Freddy's head on top. We're then going to place on the hat and the mouth. I'm just going to make sure that my position is correct, and then I'm just going to trim off a little bit to make it a bit more of a rounded muzzle. I'm also cutting the hat in half because it was sitting up a little bit too high, so just using half to give that little bit of definition to the hat and the muzzle. Then you're just going to want to crumb coat that cake. So get that buttercream and give everything a really good crumb coat. Make sure you do, because you have cut this cake out, so you are going to have crumbs in there from the cut around cakes. Give it a really good crumb coat and then pop it in the fridge to set when you're happy with your crumb coat. How many times have I said crumb coat? I don't know. I've lost count. Here's one more. When your crumb coat is done, bring it out and do some more of your brown icing. So cover that face again, and then using your smaller piping tip, you're going to go around the outside of his ears and then put out the line for where his mouth is going to be. This is just a good template for you to fill in later with the black. Then add some more buttercream onto his nose and smooth that out. Once you're happy with that, it's time to get your black. So fill in the ears by putting a black line around the middle of the ear and then filling it back in with some more brown, so you get that nice ear definition. It's then time to decorate his hat. Now his hat is all black, so if you want you can start by outlining it, which makes it easier to add in the black in the center, then smooth that all out. Later we're going to come back and add some outlines onto that hat so that it has a little bit of defining features to it. It's then time to fill in your mouth, so just fill it in with a lot of black and smooth it down so you have a nice smooth opening so it looks like his mouth is open. Then adding on his nose, just a nice big oval, the line on his face like a bear has when he's been stitched. He has that little line down. Fill in his nose and draw on his eyes. Now I do all of this freestyle just by looking at the image. You can cut it out if you'd like to, but freestyle is easy enough. It's quite a simple template. You can see with the white that we've used there, we've put a little bit on one and a lot on the other. That's because this Freddy looks like he's looking at us from the side. So he's going to have more of his whites on one side of his eye than the other. Then using that white to add in his teeth, it's time to get that black back out and add in some nice big bushy eyebrows that are a little bit scary that finish off the facial expression of Freddy Fazbear from the Five Nights at Freddy's game, which I think has about 5 issues of it now, and it is a bit spooky if you play that at night. The last thing you really have to do is to do the outside of your cake again. So using that black, have it go down the sides of your cake and really take the time to make sure that that hat has its positions on the side. If you just put buttercream on there, you're going to lose that shape of the hat that you've spent all that time cutting out. So do take the time to shape that hat around. You can then grab your small black piping tip again and just add some definite lines onto the hat as per the picture that you will have printed out and used as your template. It's always good to use that as a guide just to add some interest to the cake. You can then grab your brown icing and once again add another coat to the outside of your cake. Smooth that down, and that's pretty much the Freddy Fazbear cake. If you want to add a little bit of more interest, you can grab that black piping tip again and give him an outline. it sort of, I don't know, for some reason the outline finished the cake off for me. I think it added a little bit of interest. I also did the black around the base of the cake, just all around the border. So because he is, it's like the picture. It's a nice border. It just sort of really defines all those areas on his face. But if you like it without it, it works as well. There is our finished product of our Freddy Fazbear 5 Nights at Freddy's cake, which is great for Halloween. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you again real soon.